I'm Whitney.
I'm Mindy.
And I'm Deb.
We're three best friends who love nerdy things.
Well, some people think we're nerdy, but we think we're pretty awesome.
This is our nerdiest thing.
Hello, fellow nerds, and welcome to our nerdiest thing. And hey, welcome to season 6, guys. This is the first episode of season 6.
Woohoo!
Woo! Today, we will be discussing K-pop demon hunters, the phenomenon.
The pop nanamon.
Yes.
The K-pop
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Femininomenon.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah,
And also some Korean book recommendations. We're glad you're here, guys. Welcome to season 6. And Deb, will you please get us started with our nerdy news?
Of course. So I really hate that we were gone all summer because there were like tons of great books that came out.
Yeah.
And I was going to add them to this list, but I already have like 10 books to talk about.
Yeah.
So, you know, just go to our Goodreads. It's linked in our link tree on Instagram. You can go see what we read. So the first book I want to talk about is The Things Gods Break by friend of the podcast, Abigail Owen. We met her at Imaginarium last year. And I try to be careful about spoilers for any books that are sequels, which is the case for this one. So this is book 2 in the Crucible trilogy. This book is set in the world of Greek mythology, and it's about a woman who works for a group of thieves. And I highly recommend book 1. I can't wait for book 2 to hit shelves, and I'm really excited about all of her success, too. I've seen her book on a bunch of lists. The next book is The Wives of Hawthorne Lane by Stephanie DeCarolis. And this is a tale of a picture-perfect neighborhood, aren't they all? Mm-hmm. Where 4 neighbors become the suspect of a sinister murder. And I love it when everyone ends up being a bad person. I love those types of books.
Very much like Macabre.
It does.
Yeah.
And what The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. Remember we read that for book club? Like everyone
I didn't get
ended
to
up.
read that one.
Oh, you didn't? I own it if you want to borrow it.
Remember, I was too depressed and I didn't want to read anything depressing.
It's not actually depressing. It's like, oh, you're a horrible person, but surely that person's not. Oh no, they're horrible too. Yeah, it was one of those. The next one is We Met Like This by Kasie West, and this is Kasie's adult rom-com debut, and it's about a hopeless romantic that keeps getting matched on dating apps with the guy that she has already had a disastrous date with, but like an incredible makeout session 3 years prior. So the main character loses her job and runs into this guy on the same day, and he convinces her to start her own literary agency.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'm sure you know what's going to happen next. They're going to do some more kissing. Ooh. Next, we have No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams. This book is being described as watching a scary movie, which sounds super fun to me.
Sounds fun to me, too.
Yeah.
The story revolves around a Halloween-obsessed
Not
small
Whitney.
town. Yeah, me and Mindy will read it. It's about a Halloween-obsessed small town where there tends to be a lot of violent tragedies on the aforementioned holiday.
Oh, no.
I know. Sounds good. The main character receives a phone call that her father, who's still living in the small town, has gone missing. So she has to go back. Yeah. We also, another scary one. These scary ones all came off Mindy's list. You're in like your horror era right now. It's called Bad Things Happened in This Room by Marie Still. And this novel is about a woman who cannot tell if she's being held captive by her husband or by the psychological horrors within her own mind.
Oh.
She starts to be visited by a young girl in her garden who then goes missing, while the house starts displaying its own sinister qualities.
Oh, so it's like she can't tell what's real.
Right.
Yes.
It's very unreliable narrator, which sounds really
cool.
fun.
Like right up my alley.
Yeah. Another horror one is The Wasp Trap by Mark Edwards, and it's set around a group of Londoners who have joined together to grieve their previous employer, but the group is held at gunpoint and they're forced to reveal their darkest secrets to one another.
Oh.
Which sounds really cool because they
I think it sounds so good.
They develop like a dating website together in the late 90s.
It's like it reminds me of the Saw movies, but a more psychological.
I don't
you know
watch
what I mean?
those because like crazy people exist.
Well, yeah.
I don't tend to watch horror that can be in any type of reality. I want there to be like a ghost.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's like I'm creating this game just to mess with you.
Right.
I
Right.
don't, like, ugh.
Right. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Sounds awesome.
Well, I want to know who's holding them at gunpoint and what their
Yeah, like, what's
end
the
game
deal
is.
with
What's
that?
the point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So to get back up on a high note, Tessa Bailey has a new book coming out in her Big Shot series. It's called Picture Perfect, and it's about a Playboy hockey player who we met in the last 2 books. I think he's talked about just really shortly. He, of course, simps over a softball player who is immune to his charms.
Of course she is.
These books are always so funny, and I can't wait. She just takes sports romance and makes it so kooky and funny. And
She makes it
I love
really fun. Yeah.
And then finally, we have Who's Your Daddy by Brittanee, Nicole, and Jenni Bara.
I wonder who wants to read this one.
I know, right? It's part of the Dadcom series, and this book follows a lawyer who loves to flirt/torment his coworker, but the joke is on him when a 6-year-old knocks on his door with a note, and the woman he likes to torment looks at him and goes, "Who's your daddy?" Brittanee and Jenni are longtime friends of the podcast, and I'm sure this is going to be super hilarious. So that one comes out a little bit after this. Actually, so this comes out on 9/16. That comes out a couple days later. They're indie published, so they just come out when they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of great books this week, and we'll post all these in the show notes. And the day of release, we always do a nerdy release news on our Instagram too.
Lots of good books. Lots of different types of books, too. Whatever kind of reading mood you're in, right?
Yes. Right.
Well, let's talk about what we are reading right now. Mindy, will you start us off?
I am reading Pucking Strong by Emily Rath. Of course, it's the 4th book in her Jacksonville Rays series. I did get an arc of this, but by the time this airs, it will be out everywhere. This is Teddy and Henrik's story, and if the name Teddy sounds familiar, he's been in a couple other books. He was an intern in the first one. Mm-hmm. He's made, small appearances, but it's really interesting. I'm learning a lot about demisexuality, which is something I really hadn't known existed.
What is that?
So it's when you don't feel sexually attracted to anyone unless you have developed a strong connection with them first, which to me just sounds
I don't
like
have that.
But to me just sounds like healthy, like a healthy relationship. But apparently it is something that because this character struggles and has never really had a really good relationship and is always sort of focused on his career. So it's very interesting. I learned a lot, as I always do with Emily Rath's books, and it's also very steamy. And
an MM, right?
It is MM, yes.
So maybe not instant chemistry, but that doesn't mean there is no chemistry.
Well, there is instant chemistry there's instant chemistry. They have chemistry, but it is definitely a slow burn. So like if you're expecting hot sex in the first half,
like the first 3 books,
you're not going to get that. It is a lot of pining. But
I like books
the characters are so great. You'll love Teddy. He's so awesome. He's so fun. So you'll love it. If you love Emily stuff, you'll love it.
Cool.
Nice.
I can't wait.
Nice. Deb, what are you reading?
I am reading the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. Oh, my heart. These books are amazing, and they're what brought Mindy and I together as friends. We kind of bonded over these J.R. Ward books, which I was telling you guys off air last week that when I picked them up, because I haven't read them in probably 5 years, except for the new ones. And I was like, I bet these aren't as steamy as we thought they were. I bet we've been desensitized. Oh, no.
Nope.
They good. They're good. So they have an amazing villain arc, and they're really comfort reads for me. I have so much stuff I'm supposed to be reading right now, but I read books 1 through 6 in the last 3 weeks on accident.
Oh no, look what happened.
But it also leads me to what I've been watching, which is also the show The Black Dagger Brotherhood. I've watched it twice, and Mindy and I were talking about this offline too. It's if you like the books, they did a really good job.
Yeah, they definitely did it justice.
Right. It's low budget, yes. There's part with the dragon that you don't actually get to see, which is a little bit of a bummer. I don't know how they're going to do that next season.
Yeah, I don't either,
because it's all about him. But if you like these books, go subscribe to Passion Flix. It's super cheap. It's 6 episodes, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 6.
They, almost verbatim to the book.
Yeah,
like the script is.
It definitely sounds, from the way you guys talk about the show, it does not sound like it's meant for a casual viewer.
I don't
sounds
think it is.
Like it's meant for fans of the books.
But
right?
it has a huge cult following.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think they were not really worried about that.
Sure.
And, we've been trying to convince you to just go read the books. So, obviously, if I told you this last week, if I can read 6 in 3 weeks, you can read 6 in 2 days. But they
maybe even one.
It's a lot of morally gray, fated mates.
Yeah.
It's all the things that we really love in paranormal romance. So I can't wait for season 2. Which
too.
I have no idea. I know they are going to do it. I just don't know.
It's in in the works. I mean, it's not like being filmed or anything, but it's definitely it got the response that they wanted. So
sorry about that little clink. I have no time management skills, so I'm eating.
Well, I just finished reading P.S. I Hate You by Lauren Connolly. This was a recommendation from you, Mindy.
It's one of my favorite books this year.
Shout
so
out
far.
that you let me borrow your actual physical copy. Thank you so much.
Well,
I took good care of it. I really, really loved this book. So the female main character's brother has just passed away from cancer, and part of his will is for her and his best friend to travel to some places that he never got to see. But the struggle is that she and this brother's best friend had a short-lived tryst that ended very badly, and she has never really gotten over it. So there are a lot of layers to this story, and I saw some of them coming from a mile away. I was texting Mindy like, okay, I think this, and this. And then I would be like, I was right. Like
with every book.
every so often. But even though I could like predict some things, I still really loved the story and the character development and the way that the author has them dealing with grief. And that overall message is really like, just live your life, right? Like, don't waste the time that you have. I thought it was really great. I cried.
I feel like
I did too. I sobbed, which is
wonderful.
not something I normally do.
Your personal hell would be one of us dying and going, you have to go to all these places
and talk to these people. Like,
right.
No thanks. I'll just stay in my room and cry. Thank you.
I think she does.
It's really good.
It is. It was a 5-star read for me. It's been one of my favorite ones so far this year. I love also how she dealt with like anxiety and panic attacks. Her writing's great. I just really like the way that she presents things. It was, even though, like you said, a little bit predictable, or a lot predictable in your case. It was, the way it was presented, it was still a really, really good read.
Yeah, and obviously it's heavy, right? So
it is.
If grief is a trigger for you, or like loss of a sibling or something like that, then, don't read this book.
Right.
But it is still a really, really good story. And I feel like it had a very like good, happy ish ending for being, some of it's not going to be happy because it starts off with loss of a sibling, right? But I thought it was really good. So I can go on into what I was watching, because I'm not going to say that much about it yet. I watched K-pop Demon Hunters for this episode. And that's really the only thing that I got to watch this week. So I will share my thoughts later in the episode when we talk about it, all three of us. Mindy, what have you been watching?
Well, so anybody who has kids knows that when your kid, especially if they're in their 20s, asks you to hang out with you, you do it, no matter
regardless
what they're
proposing.
Doesn't
matter what age they are. You're right.
Yes.
Right. Yes. I'm glad you like me.
So, my 21-year-old, she has been watching Love Island for years.
Nice.
And she was like, this year, she was like, we need to watch Love Island. You need to watch Love Island with me. Just try it. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to spend an hour and a half with you, that's fine.
Yeah.
I totally got invested. It's a total train wreck, total shit show.
Apparently people are saying the guy with the tattoos that they think they're fake because they're like too dark of ink.
The tattoos were fake? Oh, I haven't heard this.
And
but
someone was like, you think they get up and draw those on
draw them on every day?
Yeah. No, it's insane the amount of social media that surrounds these people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is fake reality TV.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? It's reality TV, but there's a bunch of influencers that are like competing or whatever.
It's a reality dating show.
But it's
with Ariana Madix, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our girl who got so much more popular after she got cheated on. Good for her for turning
I know.
Yeah.
shitty mustache lemons into lemonade.
Mm-hmm. She's so sweet to the girl. Like, she actually bonds with the girls in these shows too. So anyway, again, it's trash, but it was fun trash.
It's your trash.
It's your trash.
My trash.
Exactly.
But yeah, total guilty pleasure. But I'm glad I got to spend time with my kid, and now I'm hooked. So I'm going back and watching past seasons.
I love that. I like a good like guilty pleasure reality show like that.
Yeah.
I love that. Mindy, why don't you keep us going with what you're listening to?
I am listening to a book called Do Me a Favor by Kathy Yardley. It's older FMC and MMC. And she has just recently lost her husband. So again, if you trigger warning there.
Yeah.
And he lives in a small town on like a farm, and he's a little handyman, and he's fixing up her house, and she's just sort of trying to figure out her life, and he kind of is too, because he has 2 kids, grown kids that were like they had him really early, and so he's divorced. Anyway, so it's kind of all about them coming together, and it's really cute. But I'm listening to it, and this is my personal preference. I'm not loving the narrators. I just don't like. I don't know what it is about them.
It's just not.
They're grating, and I don't like.
They're grating or degrading.
Grating on my nerves. Like
you turn it on.
They're also degrading my eardrum. No, just kidding.
Yeah, you turn it on, and then you're like, "Oh, shut up."
Yeah, kind of. And I'm going to finish it out because I do like the story, and it is a really good story. But maybe read it.
I read the physical book.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed reading it. It's a cute little story.
Yeah. I actually think I did that on your recommendation.
Oh, yeah. Look at us sharing each other's recommendations.
I'm going to go ahead and say I've been recommending shit to you guys forever.
But your shit that you recommend is like 800 pages.
Oh, no. I hate being entertained for that long.
Sometimes I just need something quick.
Quick and light. Yeah, I feel you on that.
That's what she said.
Oh, quick and light. I will not say that. Deb, what are you listening to?
This is going to shock everybody. The K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack. Obviously. Your Idol will probably be in my Spotify rap this year. That and the song that the Soulja Boys play at the end.
That's one of my favorites too.
The one at the end, not
And
the
then-
soda pop one.
No.
I think that one's very catchy. It like sticks
it's
in your head.
also pretty dirty if you listen to the words.
Oh wow.
He talks about he's going to drink you down and all kinds of shit. And so, yeah, I love that one, and I love This Is What It Sounds Like, the final song for the girls.
So funny.
Too.
Those are my top. Well, I'll get to it, but yeah, those are 2 of my top 3s.
Yeah. I love that. I love this movie.
Well, I've been listening to the Throne of Glass series, and right now I'm actually doing the tandem read with audiobooks between Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn.
Did you originally read it like that?
No,
Do you
I
like
did
it?
not. I do like it, but I think I would only like it doing it with the audiobooks because it just feels easier to switch back and forth than it would with especially like you were just saying 800-page books, right? Like they're huge, and that would be too difficult for me.
Well, I'm about to be at Era of Fire, which is one of my favorite. Well, they're like all my favorite books in the series. But I've been trying to decide if I want to tandem read. I'm worried it's going to make it feel so long.
I liked it because when I read them originally, I really like Kael and Irene. I love them. Loved their parts of the book. Did not enjoy Nezrin and Sartek, which I know is kind of an unpopular opinion, but the audiobooks helped me with that quite a bit, and it didn't feel as long because the audiobooks helped me with their parts. You know what I mean?
Right. They have a very integral role in the book.
Oh yeah,
but
a lot happens with them.
I'm not very connected to them.
I do feel I felt more connected listening to them than I did actually reading it.
Yeah.
And maybe part of it too is that I've read these books before and I understand their importance more than I did when I originally read them,
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be part of it.
I also feel bad for, who's the girl you just said, what is her name?
Nezrin.
Because Cole's like, I could be a friend to you. And he's like, but I'm going to fuck this girl too.
I know.
Yeah.
He does
her dirty.
He does feel bad about it. But
for like a second.
And she's also like, I got this prince over here. That's fine with me. She's like, I don't care what you do. I got this guy. But yeah, I'm really enjoying listening to those. And yeah, this is the first time I've done a tandem read with those 2. I normally tell people if it's their first time reading the books to read Tower of Dawn and then read Empire of Storms.
100%. Oh, I said Era of Fire. I meant Empire of Storms.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Empire of Storms ends on such a huge cliffhanger, and then you're like, why the fuck do I want to go read about
Exactly.
Kael?
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with her with the cliffhanger.
Should have not published them in that order.
I know. But, she didn't ask us, unfortunately. But
she asked me. She never takes my advice.
Yeah. So that brings us to our nerdiest topic. We're going to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters first, and then we'll talk about some Korean book recommendations. So I know, Deb, you wanted to talk a little bit about the phenomenon.
The
phenomenon.
So this has become such a popular movie, but especially in the book world, I do think that Bookstagram and Book Talk kind of put this on the map. Not only does it have a soundtrack that completely slaps, it's enemies to lovers, found family, a morally black male main character, and it has a girl band who has to save all of humanity by securing the Han Moon each year. So if you've not seen this movie, the Han Moon is a magical barrier that keeps the demons trapped within the underworld. It's a compelling story, and I have watched it 4 times. And really, we wanted to do this episode because learning more about the folklore in K-pop Demon Hunters it really made me want to learn more about Korean mythology, right? Mm-hmm. And what I've learned is that it's steeped with gods and fantastical creatures, which are like all my favorite types of books to read.
Yeah.
And so I really want to hear your all's thoughts on the movie, but I'm excited to dig deep into the books that we're going to recommend too.
All right. Mindy, you want to get us going with just, I guess, overall thoughts about the movie?
Well, my first impression, and I wrote this down in my notes, it's giving Buffy with the backstory, but Jem and the holograms and the execution.
Nice.
And I'm on board with that.
I said that about Buffy, too.
Yeah,
It's like, this is very Buffy.
That's so funny. I did not put that together.
So that was like my first, honestly, the first scene when they're talking about the Han Moon and all the backstory. And then I'm watching it. It's like watching Buffy with Jem and the holograms. It was very nostalgic for me and in a very, very good way. I really didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I think the songs were really catchy. It was surprisingly funny. I watched it with my youngest daughter, and she is like a super fan. So I highly recommend, if you're going to watch it and you're unsure, watch it with a super fan.
Find a super fan.
Because I'll Zoom meet with you and watch it.
Because it's so cool to like watch. It was so cool to watch her get excited about stuff. And she was interjecting little tidbits of knowledge in between, which I'll share some with you also later on as we go through this. But
okay, I have to share real quick though that my niece, who is 10, watched this. I mean, it does have demons in it, but I wouldn't call it scary,
right?
By any means. So she watched it, and on the 4th of July, she had this little shirt that she had made. She was having a sleepover, and they all made little K-pop Demon Hunter shirts. And bless her heart, I took a picture of it, but on the side, it wrote, "Junie is my daddy." Because she had heard someone say that.
Oh, gosh.
Her dad, who is my brother-in-law, was like, "Psst, you might want to have a conversation with her about this."
That is great.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it does transcend, I think, generations. My coworker, she has 3 kids, and they're all in elementary school. Well, one of them's in preschool. So they're like, 3rd, 2nd, and preschool.
Yeah.
And she said it's like the one thing that brings them all together. It's the one thing they'll all watch.
That's
I love all the videos of parents, like the first time I watch it, and then it's like the 3rd time, and then by the 5th time they're like dancing on the table and stuff.
They have like the super long braid.
Yeah.
That is funny.
What were your thoughts, Whitney? Share them with us. Come on. We don't have to have...
It was fine.
Yeah.
Generally, it was fine. I do wish that because I didn't know anything about this. I had heard of it. I didn't know anything of it. I had not heard any of the music or anything. I was going in completely blind. I do think that if I had heard the music first and watched the movie second, I would have enjoyed the movie more.
Really?
Because I had a real hard time getting into it. I think I watched the first 30-ish minutes, and then I was like, I can't do this all at one time. And I stopped, and then I waited until the next day. And I don't know, I don't have like a specific thing that I was like, I don't like that. It was just not clicking with me, Mm-hmm. And I think I'm just like not the audience for it.
For me,
really,
I was hooked when they're like carb loading on the plane. Because I thought that was so funny, because they do a good job of showing how women actually behave, right?
Yeah.
These women
they're not like prissy or
right. No, they're not. And they take care of shit and they get stuff done. I wouldn't say they have very good work-life balance. Maybe
Definitely
they need to work
not.
on that.
No.
But
Yeah.
they're like shoving food in their mouth, and they're mad that their ramen's been interrupted.
Yeah.
And then later on when they're like, couch, 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 and they're carrying like 10 tons of food with them,
so
right?
much food.
But
yeah.
their facial expressions, especially while they're eating, were making me laugh so hard. And then the first time that Mira sees Abby's abs when they're walking and like their eyes turned into popcorn.
Yeah.
It is
I did think that was funny.
hilarious. I was just like rolling on the floor. And I also watched it with my daughter too,
Yeah.
right? And so we were just like laughing out loud. But this is my type of movie for sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the music I really, really liked. And the further it got in the movie and the more music there was, the more I was enjoying it, which is why I say if I had heard the music first, I would have enjoyed it overall better. Because that was the best part of it for me. Like I could have literally just done music videos and no actual story movie at all, you know, and I would have loved that. I don't know. I think the girls just like annoy me.
I mean, they're
over the top.
a lot, yeah.
They kind of annoyed me. And then I was really confused at the end because I was expecting dude bro Junie, thank you. I'm like, what's his name? I was expecting him to come back. Where he's like, I'm giving my soul.
I kind of like that he didn't.
Well, but I was just like, I was waiting for that because that's such a common thing to happen in a movie, right? Especially a cartoon movie like this, right? Like I made this a good sacrifice and, you know, whatever deity said I could come back. So here I am. And I just kept waiting for that. And then I was like, oh, I don't think that's going to happen. And so then I was kind of confused.
There are going to be 2 more movies. So, I mean, he's got to be back.
Oh, well, that makes a little more sense then.
I don't believe they had originally planned on that. But I mean, obviously
such a
they would
huge
be
hit.
dumb not to make more.
Right.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did really enjoy the music. The music is extremely catchy. I like the little soda
Put it
pop.
on your Spotify list. You won't be sad about it.
Yeah, it's very catchy.
That's all Dawn listens to right now.
Were there more things you wanted to talk about with the movie, or do we want to go into our book recommendations?
No. Golf claps all around. 5 stars for me.
I've got a lot to say.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't realize that we
Take it away, Mindy.
Okay, first of all, I want to talk about the girls. Rumi reminds me of my middle child so much. It just made me laugh so hard because even with the long braid, because my child has long ass hair. Zoe, my daughter Dawn, said that I look like her, which I kind of do, like the hair and all that stuff. Yeah, but not
cute.
She is very, very cute. I probably do not look like that cute on a regular basis, but I can look that cute.
You look even cuter.
I can make myself look that cute.
Sadie made her my Netflix profile person.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. But I think Mira is my favorite. I feel like I can totally relate to her. I think she's my personality. I don't know why. She reminds me of me as a teenager. And this was kind of cool. Dawn pointed out, this is one of my little tidbits. Dawn pointed out to me that the rapping in between the Huntrix rapping and the Saja Boys rapping is different, and you can sort of hear it. And she pointed out that's because Zoe is actually from America, so her rapping is different from the Saja Boys rapper because American rap is focused more on the lyrics, and Korean rap is usually more focused on the rhythms and matching the beat. So I started sort of paying attention to that. It was actually really cool because you could see kind of a distinction. That was a neat little tidbit.
That
I'll look
is.
out for that when I rewatch this
Yeah,
tomorrow.
that is a good little tidbit.
My favorite character was the cat and the three-eyed bird.
I did enjoy the cat.
Oh my God, when he comes out and he keeps knocking over the plant
And trying to put it back up.
I enjoyed that
I was
quite a
rolling
bit.
on the floor.
Dying. That was
It's
hilarious.
just like gentle comedy, and it was just very smart comedy too.
And they did it just enough times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it wasn't overdone.
Yes,
but it was funny.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That did make me laugh.
So one more little tidbit. Dawn told me that Saja means Grim Reaper. So you've got the demons and the souls, or it could also mean lion, which makes sense why the Saja boys are always saying join the pride.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because I was like, what?
I wondered about that.
So
okay,
there
that
is
makes
a
sense.
theory too I want to add to that. You know, after they sing Free and he says that he can't hear the voices anymore, there's a fan theory that it's because she put a hanmoon around him to protect
I
him.
love that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just wanted him to kiss. Just once.
I don't know. That floating part was out. That was a little weird for me. I don't know.
Oh, when they were singing together?
Yeah, when they were
Reminded
floating
me of
around.
Aladdin.
It happens.
Yes.
It's in La La Land too. The Emma Stone and
I hated that part.
Ryan got it's
Yeah, I
very,
don't know.
When did this just turn into
It's
this?
just like super
It took
cheesy.
me a little bit out of it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And then my favorite songs were Golden, What It Sounds Like, and Your Idol. So Golden was my third favorite there. And then in general, I loved the overall theme of just being yourself and not trying to hide parts of you.
Yeah.
Like, if you think I'm too much, then go find less. I loved that.
Yeah.
Someone said that they felt like the true villain was who is their guardian person, the
That's
woman.
Celine.
Yeah. They're like, she's the true
100%.
villain.
She was
Percent.
awful.
Hide herself and
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I was waiting for a reveal that she was like somehow connected to the demon world or whatever, but that also
I
never
forget
happened.
what they got, Guima or Guima. Yeah,
think
that would have
so.
been. Maybe it'll happen in
You
movie
never
too.
know.
Maybe. Yeah, I didn't know that
Yeah,
they
she
were
was
planning on making more.
horrible. She was a horrible person.
She really was. Yeah,
irritated
she
me.
needs to face justice. Maybe that's
Or
what,
face plant.
Yeah, maybe that's what second movie is about. I will say, just from like a musical standpoint, that Golden song is incredibly hard to sing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Those notes are in the key change. It's ridiculous. And the singer, I cannot remember what her name is. But I looked it up because I was like, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's some singer, a Korean singer who I've read like on Facebook. So this may not be accurate, but it's like she's wanted to like bust into the K-pop scene and just like hasn't gotten a chance to really. And now she's really having
That's
a lot of
awesome.
success with this movie. Her voice is ridiculous. It was awesome.
This is the first girl band song that's been on the Billboard Top 100 since Destiny's Child.
I saw that from like
Wow.
2001.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
long
that's
time.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really had girl groups since then. So I do appreciate that.
Yes.
So yeah, the music was great. At least look up the music. I will say that. At
Watch
least
the
look up.
damn movie. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
So let's go into our book recommendations. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Go for it.
I'm going to give my recommendations, and then we also had one of our friends that we met at Imaginarium, who's also a Patreon member, Veda. She gave us some recommendations too, because Mindy had posted something on our Patreon about her daughter being too embarrassed to tell us the Korean stuff she's been reading. Apparently, it
That
was
made me
some
laugh.
dirty manga.
Yeah.
For some reason, everything is dirty.
It's a pretty funny text conversation.
So my first recommendation is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sky by Axio. And for our Korean listeners, if we say any of these names wrong, please feel free to write us and tell us how to pronounce them, and then we will post that with the episode. I did look up pronunciations, but I could be so off, and I'm sorry if I am. So anyway, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sky. This novel is a feminist retelling of the Korean folklore, The Tale of Shim Chong. In the original story, a dutiful daughter sacrifices herself to the sea god to help her blind father. But in Axie's story, the sea is ravaging the local village, and a maiden is thrown into the sea each year in hopes that a bride will calm the sea god. So the female main character travels under the sea to save the kingdom.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I thought was a really cool twist on that retelling. The next one is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. This story revolves around a Korean folklore creature called a gumiho, and it is a 9-tailed fox who must devour the energy of men in order to survive. Sounds really fun, actually.
I am on board with that.
I know.
Like males, not human. Like men.
Human men, I believe. Yeah. So,
Girl power.
Yeah.
I'm finding that there is a lot of feminism in these books, which is really, really fun.
As it should be.
Yes.
Right. So when the gumiho is feeding one night, she rescues a human boy who's being terrorized by a goblin. And as they grow closer, she has to choose between her immortality and his life.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a moral dilemma.
I know. It is. Another one by Axio is The Floating World, and this is another retelling of Korean folklore. It centers around celestial maidens, which are a group of winged women who descend from the skies to either bathe in a waterfall or a lake. So in this story, a mortal man who's often a woodcutter observes them and steals the garment of one maiden, forcing her to stay on Earth and become his wife. So in the author's interpretation, a village is attacked by a demon, exposing the magical powers of a young girl who is then set on a collision course with the man who is hired to hunt her.
Oh.
Reminds me a little bit of like Snow White.
That's what I was
Yeah.
just thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one is The God in the Gumiho by Sophie Kim. Sophie is another friend of the podcast we met through Imaginarium Book Festival. And this story tells the tale of a trickster god who was banished from the heavens for instigating a coup, which, you know, kind of sounds like the devil. When a demon escapes from the underworld, a gumiho, which we talked about what that is earlier, it's a 9-tailed fox, she exposes herself only to go into hiding again. So this trickster god is in order to kill both the demon and the gumiho as redemption for his sins.
Ooh.
And when we met Sophie, I gotta say, she is a highly intelligent, very well-spoken person. I loved spending time with her.
Yeah.
And I was sad that she wasn't at Imaginarium again this year, but she was going into grad school, wasn't she?
I think so.
That's the other thing. To write a book like that, she is young.
Yeah.
She really is.
Yeah, she had just finished, I believe, her bachelor's.
Just graduated.
Yeah, yeah. So the additional recs from our Imaginarium friend and Patreon member Veda were The Red Palace.
Shout out to Veda.
Veda. The Red Palace by June Her. Under the Oak Tree by Suji Kim. And if you like K-pop themed books, she loves XO and ASAP, also by Axio. So I think I just need to read all of Axio's books.
Yeah,
It sounds like it.
Yeah, it sounds
she's
like
the one to start with, maybe.
what I'm into here. So yeah, a couple of these were already on my TBR, but I definitely added more. And
Added a lot more,
cannot wait to read these. They sound so cool.
Yeah. Well, I can go ahead and go next. That was
I'm going to talk about some Korean folklore.
That was extremely country.
I'm a white girl who likes to read about other cultures.
Right. I have a couple of authors also from Imaginarium. I knew that there were some Korean American authors that we have met through Imaginarium. I only have a couple because I wanted to verify that I was correct in thinking that this particular author was a Korean author and not just a different.
I know that was my thing
what I mean?
too, because I'm like, okay, with us being white women,
Exactly.
I do not want to call a Chinese woman
Exactly.
Korean, right?
So I'm sure there are more from Imaginarium from the past few years that I've just missed, but I didn't want to take the risk of misidentifying anybody. So if you're an Imaginarium friend, please let us know who we missed, because I'm sure that we've missed people. So first, we have Mai Corland. She has written a fantasy trilogy. Book 1 is 5 Broken Blades. 5 killers are summoned to work together for a single objective, to kill the God King, but only one can take the crown. So this trilogy has multiple POVs between the 5 killers. I think there are 6 POVs altogether. You've got a road trip, a journey, a band of misfits / kind of found family outcasts. You've got some romance. I think there are 3 different couples through all the characters. One of them is a second chance romance. One of them is more forced proximities, and another one is enemies to lovers.
Wait, I get more than one romance story?
Right,
Yes.
exactly. A lot of readers and a lot of the reviews compared this book to 6 of Crows, which I find to be a high compliment and
Wow.
a very
Yeah.
good indication of what kind of book it is, right?
Right.
So if you like 6 of Crows, check that book out. And then the other author I wanted to highlight is Andrea Tang. She wrote a book that I read a couple of years ago before Imaginarium called Renegade Flight. It's more of a middle grade book than anything else, but I could not actually confirm specifically if Andrea is Korean American. However,
I believe she is.
I think she is. I wanted to still include this because the main character of Renegade Flight is Korean Canadian. So it still fit what we were talking about, right? And I also know that she studies or used to study Korean language to teach, I think, English as a second language, if I'm not mistaken.
I know. She has a billion degrees.
She is one of the most intelligent people
Right.
I've
And
ever met.
what doesn't she do Krav Maga or something like that?
Yes.
Yes, she is the one that does that. Yes.
It might be jujitsu, but she competes with something like that.
And I mean, if you looked at her, you would not think she could kick your ass.
Oh, she totally
But I would
can.
not fight her.
I think she could probably rip me in half, honestly.
But the thing with those types of fighting is that's not what they're about.
Right.
It's more
Right.
about structure and all of that. But
But if she
I'm not
wanted
gonna
to,
make her mad.
if she wanted to, she could. We did an interview with Andrea a couple of years ago before Imaginarium. That is linked in the show notes if you want to go back and listen to it. Renegade Flight follows a young woman who was caught cheating in her assessment to become a dragon rider. But these dragons are actually robot mech dragons, and this is a futuristic society. Viola, the writer, is then outcast and forced to train for a completely different job in the academy where she lives. But soon there's a mystery to solve with pilots going missing, and we've got a band of misfits working together to figure out why people are disappearing, and they end up needing to fight corruption and basically save the day. I really
sounds
enjoyed this
good.
read. It was
It's
good.
Fourth Wing, but make it sci-fi.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
I want to know how you cheat at that.
I know.
I remember it being more of some kind of like silly technicality that like shouldn't have been a big deal, but they made it a big deal.
Yeah, okay,
and
got
she
it.
was like shamed basically for making the mistake or something like that. But I really enjoyed that book. So yeah, that's it. Andrea Tang and Maya Corland. Go check them out.
All right.
Mindy, will you share your recommendations?
I will. So the first one is actually a little bit different. It's called Cursed Bunny by Bara Chung. And Cursed Bunny is a genre-defying collection of short stories that blurs the lines between magical realism, horror, and science fiction.
Ooh.
So that's what kind of drew me in. The author uses elements of the fantastic and the surreal to address the very real horrors and cruelties of patriarchy and capitalism in modern society. So not necessarily a light read.
Right.
But, you know, it's short stories, so it's something that you could kind of come back to if you need to. If you need to put it down and come back, read something a little later. The next one is one that's just been all over Bookstagram. So it's called Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. It was a New York Times bestseller. She is in an indie pop band called Japanese Breakfast.
Oh.
But the book itself is described as an unflinching, deeply moving memoir about growing up mixed race Korean food and losing her Korean mother and then forging her own identity in the wake of her loss. So again, all over Bookstagram, it's gotten great reviews. And now
I think the Sexual Butler has read that.
I can see that being something that he would like to read for sure.
Yeah, it feels like a Brian book.
It does feel like a very Brian book. So then moving on to something a little lighter, these two are both romances. So the first one is called Soulmates by Susan Lee, and it's Seoul.
Yeah.
And the story is her ex-boyfriend wants her back. Her former best friend is in town. And she says, when did Hannah's life become a K-drama? So what I gather is that she feels alienated from her friends because they all like K-pop and K-dramas and she doesn't really. Oh. It just sounds so cute. It is YA.
You can be friends with people that don't do everything you do.
I know.
Come on.
It is YA though, so take that into consideration if you're a mood reader.
Yeah.
And then finally, this one's called My Summer in Seoul, and it's by Rachel Van Dyken. And it just gets really good reviews on Goodreads, and it's a K-pop rock star romance.
Oh, that's fun.
So I thought it sounded fun.
Ooh, I like a rock star romance.
I do too.
And I like Rachel Van Dyken. I've read a couple of things by her, and I've actually met her. She's really fun.
Yeah.
My Summer in Seoul.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'm going to read that.
I like a rockstar romance too. Well, thank you so much. And listeners, as always, if you have more to add to our TBRs, please
We're always adding.
Yeah. Send us more of these titles.
I put stuff on Mindy and Whitney's TBRs and they don't read it.
We can only do so much.
You have no problem reading each other's.
I guarantee you that I read more of your recommendations than percentage-wise than I do my own.
For the record, I'm really messing with you guys.
We love you.
We're all a little bit of mood readers,
Yeah,
too,
for sure.
Which is why I've just been reading Black Dagger Brotherhood.
Yeah.
So I was talking to the Trope Trollop the other day because I did start a different book, and she was asking me about it, and I was like, I had a bad day, and I had to read smut.
Yeah.
I do. If I'm
feel that.
not in a good mental headspace, I cannot read fantasy because it's a lot of world building and like so much like people doing horrible things to each other.
Yep.
Which is typically what really intrigues me about these, right? But when I'm not having a good time,
and they're not light reads by any
Definitely.
any stretch of the imagination.
Well, let's go into our nerdiest things of the week. Mindy, will you start us off? Because I need to hear about this.
So this is not really from this week, although it's continued throughout my life at this point. So when I went out west with my husband, we went out to South Dakota and Wyoming, and I knew that prairie dogs existed, but I tell you what, if you've never seen one in person, I got giggly when I would see them. They are so fucking cute, these prairie dogs. So I was like enamored. There's video and pictures. Darren would take pictures of me taking pictures of prairie dogs, or like video of me getting excited. Like every time, because they sound so cute and they pop up from their hole. I mean, it is just, I'm telling you, go watch some videos of prairie dogs.
They're like,
it will make your day.
They're like the otters of the land.
Yes,
like they're just cutesy little animals.
100%. Yeah. So while we were out there, I bought a stuffed prairie dog because why not?
Yeah.
And I named him Pedro.
You mean like a stuffed animal?
Yeah, not like a taxidermy.
Yeah, no. It's wearing a little top hat.
Weird.
Just to clarify.
Oh my gosh, no, yes. A stuffy,
Yeah.
as the kids say these days.
And you named him Pedro.
And his name is Pedro the prairie dog.
That's hilarious.
And,
is it because he's daddy?
Yeah, why'd you name him Pedro?
Because in my mind, he has a Spanish accent.
Also, the only thing I think about when you say prairie dog is prairie dogging. And I cannot get past that.
I'm right there with you.
Every time you say it, I'm like,
That's what I sound like when I see them.
not me.
But the really, really, really nerdy thing about it all is that on our way home, when we're driving through Nebraska, which is nothing but flat ground, right? I got bored. And so I made a little photo essay of Pedro entertaining himself on a long
Pedro's
drive.
adventures.
Yes.
Oh,
and
I love
so
that.
that will be posted on our Patreon if you would like to see that. It's pretty funny.
That's hilarious. I love that. Well, my nerdiest thing of the week is kind of stupid. It's only funny because I didn't get murdered, honestly. So isn't that a great way to start? Okay, so I and my mom went to Miami to visit my grandmother, and we had the worst travel experience ever, and all of our flights were delayed, and we ended up getting to Miami at 2:00 in the morning. So we go out of the airport and we are in the taxi area, and this guy's like, "Hey, taxi?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Here, I'll be your taxi." We're like, "Okay, cool." So we tell him where we're going. He puts it in the GPS, and we're 2-3 minutes on the road, and I'm looking around the car. My mom's looking around the car. My mom texted me, and she was like, "I don't think this is a taxi."
Oh, God.
There's no meter. There's no sign that this is actually a taxi, right?
There's no
he was in
credentials hanging or anything.
Nothing. And we're fully in the car, on the highway at 2:00, 2:30 in the morning in Miami, right?
Yikes.
And so I'm like, okay. So I had put the address in the GPS on my phone, and so had my mom, and I could see the GPS on this guy's thing, and it was like a black SUV in a line of cars that are the taxi system, right?
Honestly, usually at the airport, there's a guy standing there to make sure that it's taxis that are in the line.
There was no such person. Either that or he just didn't care about us. So I'm like, okay, we might get murdered. True. This is definitely not an Uber. This is not a taxi. This is a guy. This is a guy who is driving us to our hotel. So, since I'm here telling you the story, it all worked out and it was totally fine.
This
it
is
was
Whitney's
a guy.
Ghost, you all.
Yeah. Ooh. He is just a dude that doesn't want to pay Uber any of his money, right? He charged us the same thing that an Uber would, because we looked it up. Mm-hmm. He charged us the same thing Uber would have cost.
How'd you pay him?
He had a Zettel type thing, a tap to pay, you use for your stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, he literally is just a guy trying to hustle and just doesn't he wants to keep all of that money. And I totally get that. But I legitimately was like, okay, if he deviates from this GPS map at all, I'll push mom out of the car. She could just tuck
Save
and roll.
yourself.
And I was like, man, Robbie is going to be so upset when I tell him about this tomorrow. And he was like, what do you mean you just got into some random guy's car?
I mean, I would have too.
I probably would have
100%.
too. You're tired. You've been traveling all day. It's been a shit day. But honestly, I get, again, I'm like you. I understand. I get where he's coming from. I wouldn't like to give away most of my earnings either, but also maybe put some sort of credential or an ID, whatever. Put
money,
something up there.
The money exchange, we paid him with basically tap to pay, and it showed up as some kind of something LLC, on the bank statement.
So he actually had a business.
Yeah, so it's you could just
put a vinyl decal on the side of your car.
Put something, make a business card, hang it from your rear view mirror or whatever, because at 2:00 in the morning in the middle of the night, and you realize you're just in some guy's car. I was like, we are gonna die today. 1000%.
At least
this
your
is it.
car problems weren't my fault this time.
Yeah. So that was my nerdiest thing of the week, which is also stay sexy and don't get murdered.
Oh my God, Whitney. I cannot believe that you did that. So speaking of Whitney being a ghost, I have to say this because she kind of freaked me out when she walked into my house. So my sweet daughter was cooking dinner for me because, like I said, I have no time management skills. And Whitney knocks on the door and I'm like, hey. And she kind of looks at me weird and I'm like, what? And she goes, did you knock at me from the window? And I said, no. And she goes, what window? Or I said, what window? And she goes, upstairs. And I was like, yep, me and my daughter are the only ones home. And we were both downstairs.
Yeah, I definitely heard knocking from a window, and it definitely seemed like it was coming from like up the second floor of your house. So I thought maybe you were like in your studio or something.
No.
Yeah, so that was fun.
I'm not going to sleep well later, especially when I take that gummy and I get all paranoid.
Oh my God, that would freak me out.
Yeah, when it's time to go, I'm going to be like, well, see you later. Like run to my car.
Okay, so I have to say, and I did tell my husband about this, but I had taken a gummy, so I'm taking it with a grain of salt. But I had gotten up to get like a glass of water or something, and no one was home. And as I was going back up the stairs, I heard a child laugh.
Oh.
Nope. That's a big nope.
That is a big
That's
nope.
worse
I
than
know.
knocking on a window.
That though was the first time anything like that has happened. It's always been like a presence or something out of the corner of your eye, and we've never heard tapping before. That was a new one.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I
I'm
wonder.
really sorry.
I wonder if our ghost is getting impatient, or if now we have two.
Or it's having babies.
Well, it was a man, so I guess ghosts can do whatever they want. They can have
Yeah.
babies if they want to.
I guess.
Or he stole a child. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, let's change the subject.
That was not my nerdiest thing of the week, but Whitney scared the shit out of me. So really my nerdiest thing of the week is that we launched a Patreon. We've talked about it a couple times, but I just wanted our listeners to know, if you don't follow us on Instagram, we are hosting online monthly book clubs. We give a book, and then everyone votes on a day to meet, and we get together on Zoom, and we have drinks and chat about the books. And so we also have cocktail and mocktail hours. We plan to have some authors join us. But having said that, I do have something that I came across that I want to cover that doesn't fit into any of our upcoming episodes. I was doom scrolling one night and came across this posting on Threads that asked people what conspiracy theory they believe to be true. And of course, several people mentioned the Mandela effect. You know, there's multiple dimensions. That was one. Also, there, you know, it's the ones you always hear about. But after literally diving into this thread for like an hour, there were thousands of responses. It was captivating. I came across one that theorized that Edgar Degas, you know, the Impressionist painter who loved to draw ballerinas, there is a theory that he was Jack the Ripper.
Ooh.
So if you want to hear more, join us over at patreon.com/our nerdiest thing for this bonus content. And we would love to have you come hang out with us. Yeah,
definitely come hang out with us. That'll be exciting to talk about.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is it for this week. Make sure you stay tuned for our Thursday episode. We'll be starting our discussion of Throne of Glass, book 1 in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas.
Can't wait.
See you next time.
Bye. Like what you heard in this episode? Follow Our Nerdiest Thing on Instagram at instagram.com/Our Nerdiest Thing or Facebook at facebook.com/Our Nerdiest Thing. We love hearing from fellow nerds. Email us at ournerdiestthing@gmail.com.